Okay, disclaimer before we get started. This is my opinion. I'm not speaking anybody's facts. There are facts contained herein, but I'm looking at the facts that I've seen, the opinions that I've seen, and I'm giving my opinion on it. This video is my opinion. Disclaimer done. But obviously I have recently, well, not obviously, it's not obvious to anybody but myself really, but recently I've been sucked into the whole, hold on a minute, let me just love my friend's koala. This makes sense to only me and Laura, to be fair. I can't, oh, can I? Yeah. Over the past, since Bonfire Night, I've just been tits deep in Travis Scott stuff, right? But one thing that's bothering me about this Travis Scott stuff is that motherfuckers act like they forgot about Baldwin. And it's like, I never did do it. I thought I'd done a video on Alec, well, I did do a video on Alec Baldwin the other day, but I didn't post it. But I thought I had, so I thought I'd done Baldwin. And because of this whole Travis Scott fandango, I feel like I need to talk about Baldwin now. Because I've not done it, and my attention has been taken away. See where I'm going with this? My attention has been taken away from Alec Baldwin. Alec Baldwin took a loaded gun, pointed it at a camera woman and fired and killed her, right? So there's many aspects to this. If you want to know about the factual shit, not my opinion, factual shit, I wholeheartedly for you to go to a channel of a chap called H.A. Goodman, American fella, lovely speaking voice. He should totally be on radio. But yeah, he does the factual shit, and he's been doing constant updates. That's where pretty much everything that I have learned has come from, pretty much, right? You know, like the shit, like there were 500 rounds taken from the set afterwards, 500 rounds, live and not live, dummies, all of that kind of thing. There were facts like the armourer wasn't even on the set. In it, apparently he shot this woman in a church, right? Shot her in a church. She wasn't filming. It wasn't, and it wasn't a live set. It was a live gun, wasn't a live set. There is no footage of this happening whatsoever, right? Now, a couple of months ago, a couple of weeks ago, whatever, I got schooled on gun use/misuse in a group that I'm on Facebook. Somebody said, posted a thing like of this bloke saying, my girlfriend wants me to put my Glock to her head while we're having sex, should I do it? And I said, well, just take the bullets out. And this geezer schooled me big time. He's like, nope. No. You always treat a gun like it is loaded with a live round. Always, that's what you do. Now, this is just a regular everyday person. As far as I know, he ain't no firearms expert. He ain't no film employee. Now, on this film set, just before this happened, shitloads of the crew had walked off the set because they were complaining about safety, about gun safety. Apparently this gun that he shot her with, they were using for Tin Can Alley shit. It breaks. Pew, 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 pew. And then putting it down for somebody else to pick up. Like, there was no, literally, go to this H.A. Goodman, his site, to get the facts. Again, I'm opinion. And I'm only, I've not got anything written down, so I'm missing out at least half of the important parts of this, right? But one thing that he never mentions, and I don't know why, it could be because it's utter bollocks. Again, opinions, right? But I've seen, and you can fake tweets. We know that you can fake tweets. You can fucking fake anything, let's face it, these days. I've seen a tweet that's apparently from this Helena woman on the 18th of October, shortly before she died, saying, I have information that could lead to Hillary Clinton's arrest. Now, that I'm always like, you know, that's comedy shit right there. It's like, yeah, that's, you know, like when people die suddenly, often people will say, oh, yeah, she got information that leads to Hillary Clinton's arrest. I can't see her putting that out when she's in a public place. Can't see anybody actually putting that out. You don't do that. You don't say, I've got this information, and then not put it out. You put it out, and then afterwards go, well, by the way, I had that information. It's not rocket science. But there's another, again, alleged, I don't know. I can't say anything, but there's another thing that I've seen multiple times where apparently the next project that she was doing after, I keep going to call it Thrust, after Rust, was an expose of Hollywood paedophilia. Now, Alec Baldwin is on the flight manifests for the Lolita Express, Jeffrey Epstein's flight. This is where my conspiracy theory head starts going, boom, Alec Baldwin, boom, Alec Baldwin. Do you know what I mean? It's like, so this guy, let's say that this is true. Let's say that this tweet and that this allegement that she's doing this expose are true. You've got a guy who's due to be outed as a pedo, who is on a set with a woman, no armour around. Most of the people have walked off, they had non-union labour, because most of the union labour had all walked off set due to safety concerns. So he's just surrounded with people who didn't know what the fuck were going on. The armourer wasn't in the building. He'd got a gun, and he pointed at a woman that wasn't filming him, and he pulled the trigger, and now she's dead. And so if it is true that she was doing that expose, he would have been one of the ones that was going to come down, and now she's not a problem with it anymore. That's, again, opinion. YouTube, opinion. This is my opinion from what I've seen. It might be bullshit, but I tell you what is bullshit. Some bloke taking a gun, firing it at a woman, and apparently the scene didn't even call for a firearm in that scene. There was no need for a firearm in this scene. Again, go to AJ Goodman. He's the facts guy. But like, literally, he's in a church, he picks up a firearm, points it at a camera woman, and ends her life. And now nobody's talking about it because everybody's all about Travis Scott. That's a different thing. 11 people with cardiac arrest in one day. A different fucking thing. The world's got mad. But do not forget Alec Baldwin. One thing I can't really gel with H.A. Goodman. So I've not listened properly to everything that he has to say, because he does bring Trump into it a lot, because Alec Baldwin did a pretty fucking hilarious Trump impression. And this Goodman fella kind of talks about Democrats and Republicans, and I'm not into that. It's life, death, light, dark, good, bad to me. I don't do the whole political fandango. But other than that, he's got a lot of good shit to say, and he does go with the facts. This is just my opinion. My opinion is something that he never mentions the whole paedophilia shit. He never mentions Hillary Clinton. Not that I've seen anyway. I've not watched 100% of his videos, but he does repeat himself a lot on the ones that I've watched. So I would have thought that if he had have gone down that route at some point in time, that he would have repeated that shit, because I think it's pretty fucking damning. Do you know what I mean? If you've got a geezer who is associated with one of the biggest known people, it's like in America you've got Jeffrey Epstein, in England you've got Jimmy Savile. If you're associated with Jimmy Savile in England, as far as I'm concerned, you're guilty by association. In fact, in England, if you're called Sir, as far as I'm concerned, again, opinion, my opinion, nobody else's opinion, my opinion. If you're called Sir, you need to be, if you get any kind of fucking accolade from the royal family, mate, it's like being kissed by Satan. Like, fuck you, and everything that you stand for. That's what I'd be like personally. I wouldn't get a sirship anyway, because I don't do anything to make money for myself. So I couldn't do that, and I have no talent to give to the world. I'm not, like, there are certain sirs that I don't class in with that. Like, there's a very famous runner that is a sir, and I don't think for a minute that he's in that club, but a lot of sirs are. A lot of them. One is the head of the Labour Party, yeah, it's a big club, you're not in it, that kind of thing. Thank fuck you're not in it, because you're not being held up on her. He's not even being held up for murder. Alec Baldwin isn't even up on a murder charge. He took a gun, pointed it at a woman and pulled the trigger for no known reason. She wasn't filming him. They weren't rehearsing a scene that had a gun in it. Yet he took a loaded gun, pointed at the woman, pulled the trigger, and now she'd be dead. Just don't be the motherfucker that forgot about Baldwin. Shit's going on left, right and centre. Don't let yesterday's news become tomorrow's chip paper, please. These people need bringing down. Baldwin and old fucking Jobby McNob, Travis Scott. It's like, literally, do not let these people get a fucking way with it. Just because there's a new news story out tomorrow. Call people to account. It's like, right, okay, let's sort this out. We'll put that in the to-do tray for tomorrow. But let's sort these bastards out first. Sort them out and then move on. Travis Scott has got 49, I think, to date, lawsuits coming up about him, against him. I don't know if Alec Baldwin's got one yet, but surely she's got family. Surely there are people out there wanting justice. He murdered her. There was no reason for him to fire a gun in her direction. There was no reason for him to hold a gun and point it at her in that church, because the scene didn't call for it. But he took a live gun. Even if it weren't a live gun, you don't pull a trigger. CGI these days means you don't need to pull a trigger. He didn't check the rounds in the gun, or maybe he did. Who the fuck knows? Just lest we forget, right? Do not motherfucking forget about Baldwin.